What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go. Fellas, what is going on? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now. And guess what? We got a dope guest, y'all. We got my man, Nick Blair. He's called the Money Champ. Yes, he's called the Money Champ. Now, check this out, man. Nick is a father. His wife is currently pregnant now, so he's about to be a father of two. From Athens, Tennessee. I mean, he's got a story, and I'm going to let him kind of jump into his story as to how the Money Champ, came into fruition, like how this thing came. But long story short, his journey and what he's passionate about is something that a lot of us have dealt with, and that's the area of student loans, right? Student debt. He's shaking his head right now, as I said. It's like a bad word in here, right? We're not going to cuss, but student loans is just as bad, right? But anyway, man, I want to welcome my man onto the podcast and welcome him to come in and tell his story. So, Nick, what's popping, man?
What's up, man? Mike, I appreciate you for having me on the show today.
No doubt, my brother. Now dig this. The Money Champ. Where did that come from? And just explain to everybody what the Money Champ is, man. Talk a little bit about what's going on with the Money Champ.
Okay. Well, first, let me go ahead and start by thanking God for this opportunity and thanking him for my purpose in life. And also, I want to thank him for my wife, for my stepdaughter, and for my new baby girl that's coming in a couple months, little Bella. She'll be here September 1st, so I got a lot of good stuff going on. Mm-hmm. But essentially, man, the Money Champ started in about 2013. I was working at Ed Financial Services, and please don't take this the wrong way if you do work for Ed Financial Services or if you've got any relatives that work there, but it was... could probably say one of the worst jobs that I've ever had in my life, but it was a blessing as well, because I actually got to see firsthand kind of the trials and tribulations and just the negative effects that student loans had on people. I mean, I'd see people get their wages garnished, people losing their homes, different things like that just off of student loans. And so, that really resonated with me because, I have student loans, and I've, not got to that situation to where, my wages have been garnished or anything like that. But, there have been times where it's been hard to make that student loan payment. And so, I just came up with a Money Champ to essentially kind of help people win with their finances in their life. But I have a sweet spot for student loans and for, millennials and for high school students. I just want to kind of see the world kind of get educated without having to take out these student loans and graduating college with $60,000 worth of debt, and it's just too much, and I do see that being like the next big bubble that's going to happen, because it's going to burst, because we just can't pay it back, so it's just crazy. And so that's essentially why I started the Money Champ, because I know that I like to help people deep down, and I like to teach people, and I like talking about finances and being around it, so it kind of just made sense for all of that to come together and, just help people and make a few dollars while I do it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. And so the Money Champ, like, what's all involved? Like, what all do you offer? What all is going on? I know you can go to themoneychamp.com, but when you go to themoneychamp.com, what exactly will you find?
Yeah, when you go to my website, you're going to find, I do have a podcast show called The Money Champ, where I interview different people, entrepreneurs, people that have paid off student loan in a certain amount of time, different things like that. I've also have a book that I published last year. It was last September. It's called The Money Champ's Guide to Getting a College Degree Debt-Free, where I essentially give out the blueprint on how to graduate high school and how to kind of transition into college and to graduate with little to no debt.
That's big, fellas. Graduate with little to no debt. We'll touch back on that in a second.
Yeah, because it can be done. You just got to do the right things. unfortunately for me, I pretty much did all the wrong things. So, that's why I feel like I'm an expert on telling you what to do correctly, in order to graduate with little to no debt. And also, like I said, just kind of any financial situation that keeps you up at night. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can email me on my website. You can go email me at nick@themoneychamp.com. Give me a call, 423-505-3056. I'll be more than happy to help you. But like I said, just anything that really just kind of keeps you up at night financially, I'm here to help. That's what God placed on my heart. That's my purpose, and that's my passion. I just, love, doing this.
And I'm going to tell you, fellas, we know that money is a very, very, very touchy topic for a lot of people. When you think money, when you think sex, when you think religion, when you think politics, those are things that, strike a chord with a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And when it comes to money, and specifically with Nick and his primary focus and his passion, student loans, that's something that really resonates with a lot of us. Because the thing that's interesting about student loans, people have the mindset that we cannot go to college without a student loan. Like, that's just, it's kind of like when you buy a house. Like, folks have the mindset that we cannot buy a home without a mortgage payment. Or folks go to buy a car, they don't ask how much the car costs. The first thing they ask, or the first conversation they have with the person selling the car is, well, I need to keep my payments around this particular amount. So we have this particular mindset nowadays when it comes to debt that, is pretty much is unhealthy. Yes, it's normalized, and yes, it's accepted by society, but in reality it's unhealthy, because as long as your money comes in fine, your debt payments are okay, right? You can manage. But the moment that there's a blip in the radar or something hits the fan and you have a bill or something that just comes out of the blue from some particular place, your debt then becomes a humongous liability for you. Not just your mortgage, not just your car, but the debt for school. All right, and that's Nick's his passion is revolving around student loan debt. So we're going to really take time to kind of jump into this whole premise of student loan debt and why it's such a big issue. But then the flip side of that is, I'm going to ask him right now on the cuff, like, what are some ways that people can go to school debt free? Like, everybody knows, I can get a scholarship or whatever. But what are some unique ways? Don't give it all away, because we want folks to buy your book. What are some unique ways that people can think about education in a way that does not require them to go and take out debt?
Well, I would say the first thing is, and kind of thinking back to when I was in high school, the first thing you need to do is be serious about going to college. And don't just go to college because that's where the girls are at, or that's where the guys are at, or because your friends are going.
This is Black Fathers Now, so that's where the girls are at. All right, keep it going. I had to throw that in there.
You got to be serious about it. And when I say serious, the classes that you take, they're going to have to reflect that. It's nothing unusual to graduate high school, and be a sophomore already in college. So that would be the first thing. Get serious in high school and take.
So you mean like AP advanced placement classes?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Get serious in high school, take the right courses, and graduate high school as a sophomore in college. And then that way, you only have 2 years of college left.
So hold on. So break that down. So what you're saying is, by focusing on taking advanced placement classes and getting college credit while you're still in high school, that in essence saves you money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's not, essentially at that point, you've got 2 years of college for free. We're no longer in the time where you can go to high school and kind of play around and so forth. Just like you can't go to college, kind of like our parents went to college, and it's like the saying used to be, you go there to find yourself. Mm-hmm. No, you need to know who you are before you get to college. College is too expensive to try to get there and then find yourself. Now, if you're a trust fund baby, sure, go ahead and go to college and find yourself. It's free for you at that point. But for somebody that's paying for school out of their own pocket, find yourself in high school. You know
what that makes me think about is the whole premise of having a plan, right?
Absolutely.
It's just like, And I even think about it for myself when I kind of go back and kind of think about life. Like going to college, I didn't really have a plan. You kind of, kind of figuring it out as you go. Now, granted, at 18 or 17, you're not necessarily going to have your whole life figured out, but you kind of, at that point, need to have at least a little bit of direction as to which direction you're going in, so that you're not there just wasting time. Like, I forgot what movie, was it Higher Learning, where Ice Cube was like the super senior. He's been there like 8 or 9 years. We laugh at scenarios like that, but in reality, because of the cost of education and all of that, that stuff's no longer a laughing matter. It's just like, I don't want my kids to go for their undergraduate degree and be there for 7 or 8 years if I'm paying for it. They're not going to be there for 7 or 8 years if I'm paying for it. And so to that point, the whole premise of taking advanced placement classes. So Black Fathers Now, if you have some kids that are middle school age and going into high school, really figure out how to help them to get on the good foot when it comes to their academics. Because to that point, advanced placement classes and testing out and getting college credit before going to college allows them to save money. It allows you to save money. It might allow your kids to avoid having to take student loan debt out prior to them going to college. Absolutely. That is the Money Champ gave some wisdom there. That's something that I never really thought about. I used to think advanced placement classes were just something to brag to your folks about, or to brag so your parents can brag, oh, my kids are in advanced classes, this and whatever. But no, there are economic reasons that advanced placement classes could be to your benefit.
Absolutely. It might. Now, as far as your kids, how old are your kids?
Mine are 4 and 6.
Okay. Did you know that you can actually start looking for scholarships now?
Really?
Absolutely. Like, what's their favorite cereal?
Oh my gosh. Well, we like the Trader Joe's. There's a Trader Joe's version of Cheerios. It's called Honey O's or something like that, but from Trader Joe's, like Cheerios.
You'd be surprised. What kind of kooky, scholarships are out
for
there.
4 and 6 year olds?
Absolutely. I've seen it, where essentially a 5-year-old, they liked, I think it was Fruity Pebbles, and they got like a small scholarship, just because they like Fruity Pebbles. So essentially you can start looking for scholarships,
Is that something, hold on. Is that something that's paid now? Or is it like an annuity that's guaranteed for 15 years from now? Or how is that set up?
Definitely not paid now. Essentially, if I remember correctly, it's kind of like a contract that's signed, and essentially they can't touch the money until they're 18. So you won't see it, but at least you know that it's there, and it's kind of like in your bank account, so to speak. And then that's just kind of money that is there for you, or for the child when they turn 18. But man, there's all kinds of just kooky, crazy
and 6
scholarships. Oh yeah.
See, that's fascinating, because once again, fellas, I'm not going to let him give all the tips because I want you to go and get the book. But that's something that I never thought about. Like, I'm thinking, okay, my little girl's going to the 1st grade, and my little boy has another year before he starts kindergarten. I'm like, yeah, we save money for college. We set up an ESA to, and put a certain amount of money every month away and allow that to grow over the time period. We started that when they were born. So we were just saving in that regard, but we weren't even thinking about the opportunity of looking at scholarships for them for, 12 or 14 years from now. We didn't even think about that being even something that's a possibility.
And another one that comes to mind as well.
Now don't give it all away, man, because you got to buy your book.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give
one more. Okay.
And then especially this resonates with me, about to have a little baby, but Gerber. Gerber gives out plans.
Really? Scholarships?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, fellas. Okay, this is some actionable stuff that as Black fathers you can take and apply to your life right now. And what's cool about this is, I was thinking that this interview was going to really give tips for, folks that are, have kids that are in high school or whatever. But if you have young kids or kids that are about to be born, there might even be things that you can go and research now from the standpoint of preparation for college and education. Because at the end of the day, what college costs are rising. Was it like 4%?
About 4%.
4% a year, which is bigger, faster than inflation is growing, right? So it's growing faster than just about any other industry. So if you look at the cost now and you look at a 4% inflation rate for the next 10, 12, 15 years, college is going to be outrageous by the time your kids get to school. So, long story short, we want you to avoid having student loan debt, because at the end of the day, debt is dumb. I think it was a Dave Ramsey or somebody said debt is dumb, cash is king. He said something like that. Yeah, long story short, he's telling the truth, right? Debt is dumb. And so if we can figure out a way to avoid the debt, then that helps us to free up capital for us to do good things and, help with our families and build our communities and all, because Black fathers, now is the time to be on top of our game in regards to how we operate.
Absolutely.
Now, check this out. Nick, the money champ, he gave us some nuggets in regards to going to college without student loan debt and things for you to think about, right? But Nick also has a pretty cool situation going on, because Nick is a father, right? He has a stepdaughter and his wife is currently pregnant. He's about to have a little girl as well. But Nick, like a lot of brothers, man, married into fatherhood, and so I cannot leave this interview without him kind of stepping in and kind of giving some insight, because at the end of the day, Black Fathers Now is about bringing the village to the brothers. And the village comes in the form of wisdom, insight, and experience from brothers to brothers in regards to helping them be the best fathers that they can be. So, Nick, you married into fatherhood, and now you're about to have the birth of a little girl as well.
Oh, yeah.
So talk about like some of the things that you learned about marrying into fatherhood.
Man, how much time do we have? I'll be here for days. No, man, I learned. I don't know where to begin, but I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about kids. I learned a lot in terms of, you can tell them what to do, and you can, pray and hope for the best. But, at the end of the day, they're going to, as fun as it sounds, they're going to do what they want to do.
Now how old was your, when you got married, like how old was your,
she was
your stepdaughter?
10.
Okay.
She was 10.
Okay.
Yeah. And I learned a lot of patience, in dealing with her. And then I just, it's definitely been a blessing. She has definitely changed my life. And, and honestly, all times haven't been good. There's been some bad times, and there's been, times where, I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this or how much, more I can take. But, as soon as I feel that way, God kind of just steps in and he makes, kind of corrects things again and gets, I get my perspective back. And, at the end of the day, I've got to realize, that God will not put more on you than you can handle. And, he picked me out of every guy on this earth, to be her father figure, and so with that comes responsibility and just an awesomeness that comes with that. And to know that, she looks up to me, and, I know she'll never tell me that, but, I know she does. I'll find like little things that I've given her that, that she keeps. She'll throw everything else away, but she keeps that stuff, and that means a lot to me. Me being the quote unquote stepdad, and I try not to even use the word stepdad.
That's right.
It's just dad. But I've learned a lot, man, since this. It's probably been See, we've been married for 3 years. I've probably grown more in this 3 years than I have in my entire life.
Wow.
I went from, having a job that I hated, not knowing my purpose, and my relationship not being right with God, to my relationship being much, much better with God. Still got improvement to do, just like
we all are growing.
Yeah, still growing. To getting everything essentially that I wanted. I got my career, I got my wife, I got my family.
Got a new baby on the way.
New baby on the way. Got purchased a house, became a homeowner. So God really did a 180 in these past 3 years. But like I said, it's definitely been a blessing. Marrying into fatherhood. And just having a new wife and all that. But yeah, I've learned a lot, and like I said, it's something that has definitely prepared me for
the baby to come.
Oh, absolutely.
So I would ask a question then, like, what advice would you give? Because maybe there's a brother out there listening that, a young lady that he's dating or maybe engaged to, has a child. Like, what is something or some advice that you could potentially give to that brother who is stepping into fatherhood? Like, you're going from being a single dude, a bachelor, to not just being married, but married and a father all at the same time. Like, what's some advice that you would give to that brother?
Pretty much, I would say, definitely you're going to have a relationship with God, because he's going to have to bring you through some things. But I would probably say, just make sure that child knows that just because, you're the step parent, that you don't love them any less.
That's big.
That step is not even in the equation. Take the step out of it, and just kind of treat that child like your own, and just kind of try to do the best for him or her, and just let them know, that they're loved. Because I know kind of the situation that I had, it was, sometimes it kind of felt like she thought that I was the reason that her parents weren't together, and they had split a long time before I even came on the scene, and just kind of having to kind of let her know, hey, I understand, that you wanted it to be this way, but, I love your mom, I love you, and I'm going to take care of y'all, and, I'm going to, show you things that you've never seen before, and we're going to be able to do these things as a family, and just kind of let the child know that, you're here for them, and, you're always going to be there, and I would probably say pretty much the unconditional, love, because for me, that was definitely one thing that I learned as well, the unconditional love, because I'm the type of person, where if you, do wrong by me, I don't want to fool with you anymore. And you can't do that with kids.
That's right. You can't let,
I learned that real quick. So, I mean,
yeah, you
like
can.
I said, I've grown up a lot, since then, but, just kind of, like I said, letting the child know that, no matter, especially in my case, this is what's helped me, but just knowing, no matter what she does, yes, I'm going to be upset with you for a period of time, but I love you,
That's
I
right.
got your back, and I'm here for you, and I'm not just going to, throw you away like some trash or something, just because you did something wrong,
And and fellas, that is like some wisdom. Like, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I mean, that is really profound. I mean, the whole notion of even removing the whole notion of step. Yeah. So if you're stepping into a relationship with a sister who has a child already, remove that step. If you're going to step in and be dad, look, you're dad. It's not stepdad, I'm dad, right? And the whole notion of unconditional love and really working on yourself and building your relationship with God and understanding who you are, and work on those things that you need to work on so that you can offer that unconditional love, so that that child comes into the equation knowing that they are just as loved as if you were their birth father. So that's definitely some wisdom there. The Money Champ is full of wisdom outside of just information on getting you through college for free, right? Or getting through college without debt. He didn't say necessarily for free, but getting you out of college, getting you through college without debt. He's full of wisdom. So y'all definitely check him out, themoneychamp.com. And then also, like, on social media, what's the best way for them to catch up with you via social media, Nick?
Oh, and my, real
go ahead.
There, I'm sorry. The Lord just put this on my heart as well. When you're dating, essentially put all your fear aside, and then essentially act like you're married at that point. And what I mean by that, not the the sex and the living together and all that stuff. No, do that the right way, but come together as a family. And I mean, whenever you come together, just kind of like, for that time that you're together, you are a family. You're just a family that just lives in separate homes for the time being. Do that. I think that would be the biggest key. Do that, just create that atmosphere. Come over every day, and do your thing every day, and go out and play, have fun, do all of that. And then when it's time to go, you have to go your separate ways until you get married, but, create that family atmosphere. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that in there real quick, because, like I said, the Lord put that on my spirit.
That's what's up. And, fellas, that's real. I mean, real talk. I mean, you create that environment. So you create that perspective, and you create that understanding of this is what we're working towards. This is what it's going to be. And from the standpoint of making the kids comfortable and helping the kids to adjust, you're giving them some tangible examples of, wow, this is what life could really be like.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, Nick, I
Exactly.
appreciate that, man. That's some dope advice, man. And I think that's something that there's a brother out there listening that's going to say, like, you know what, maybe I'm going to think about this a little bit differently and approach it a little differently, and maybe that'll help to ease the transition for the child.
Yeah.
So,
Don't be scared about it not working out. You know? Just kind of, follow your heart and follow, God's lead, His word, His direction, and, it'll work out.
Yeah, you got to be vulnerable, man. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You got to be vulnerable because that's where the connection comes.
Exactly.
And so, dude, the money champ strikes again, fellas. That's what's up, man. Now, once again, like, from the standpoint of connection, we have the moneychamp.com. That's where they can access the podcast.
Yes.
You have a book. Now, what's the title of your book?
The book is called The Money Champ's Guide to Getting a College Degree Debt-Free. You can order the book from the website, or you can go to Amazon.com and pick it up there as well.
Okay, and we're going to have the links to Amazon, to his website, and all of that. So, fellas, you can go grab a copy of the book. You can connect with Nick, shoot him an email. He left his phone number on, earlier. We'll have all that stuff in the show notes, so y'all can definitely get in touch with him. What about social media? Like, any way to connect with you that way?
Yeah, on Facebook, you can look me up, Nick Blair. Twitter, at nickmoneychamp.com is on Twitter.
At Nick
Money Champ.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, at Nick Money Champ.
What about Are you LinkedIn too, or anything else?
Yeah, LinkedIn. Yeah. Actually, Nicholas Blair. You can
Okay.
find me on LinkedIn under Nicholas Blair. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at right now.
Awesome. So, fellas, when you do reach out to Nick and you have questions, comments, and everything, make sure you let him know that you heard him on Black Fathers Now. And, at the end of the day, man, I think you have dropped some nuggets for the fellas. And this is definitely some insight and wisdom that's going to really help to enrich the lives of the fellows that are listening. So I appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule with the pregnant wife and the daughter and all the stuff with the house and all. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come on and really just spend time with us here on Black Fathers Now. And just thank you and wish you all the best with all the endeavors that are coming down the road, my brother.
Well, Mike, I appreciate it, and thank you for your time as well. But yeah, anytime, man, I enjoy doing this. And like I said, anytime, if I've got a word that can help somebody, man, that's what it's all about.
Man, I dig this, man. This ain't gonna.
All about.
That's right, and this ain't gonna be the last time that y'all have heard from the Money Champ. So just know in the future we're gonna circle back up with my man and see what else he has going on. So, well, anything else you want to say, my man?
No, like I said, Mike, I appreciate you for having me on the show. I love the show. I love what you've got going on with Black Fathers Now. It's definitely needed, for sure. And like I said, yes, let me know anytime you want to have me back. Like I said, I'll help out in any way I can.
No doubt. Now, fellas, y'all heard that. The Money Champ. Get at him. Nick Blair. All his contact information will be in the show notes. As always, fellas, follow Black Fathers Now on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Visit blackfathersnow.com. Oh, you can listen to the podcast via iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, Google Play. Pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can catch Black Fathers Now. Download, subscribe, leave some comments, leave some ratings. We love to hear from you, fellas. But until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace. Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always visit blackfathersnow.com, as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.